5,448 victims in 107 incidents of human rights violations, PCJ's Human Rights Report. From January to June of 2024, in the CST, 107 incidents of human rights violation have been perpetrated by the Bangladesh security forces and law and order forces, army-aided terrorist armed elements, Muslim Bengali settlers, and land grabbers, wherein at least 5,448 Juma people, including 5,000 men and women of Bom people, fell prey to those incidents of human rights violation. This information is mentioned in the half-yearly January to June 2024 report on the human rights situation in Chittagong Hill Tracts, signed by the Assistant Information and Publicity Secretary of Parvata Chattogram Janasanghati Samiti on Monday, 1st July. The report states that the 19th meeting of Chittagong Hill Tracts Accord Implementation and Monitoring Committee was held in the premises of Parliament House on 30 April 2024. In the meeting, for once again, it came up with evidential proof that the government did not undertake any initiative towards implementation of the decisions adopted in the earlier meetings of CST Accord Implementation and Monitoring Committee. It is in this way the government has been turning the CST Accord Implementation and Monitoring Committee to mere an institution of nomenclature. Needless to say that it is the CST Accord Implementation and Monitoring Committee, the only entity recognized and acceptable to both the parties, that the decisions and recommendations of the committee are mandatory to both the signatories of the Bangladesh government and Parvata Chattogram Janasanghati Samiti in dealing with implementation of the accord, which was signed without involvement of the third party, whereas the Bangladesh government has kept showing utter disregard to that obligation. Due to non-implementation of the accord as of this day, the situation of CST as a whole has degraded to a highly sensitive state and become prone to explosion. The Sheikh Hasina-led Awami government, the counterpart signatory of the accord, as though being in the power for almost 16 consecutive years, has not pushed forward with the implementation process of the accord. What counts most is that at present, the government has put the implementation process to a total halt. In addition, the government has opted for pursuing the policy of wide-scale militarization through oppressive and suppressive measures, likewise the preceding dictatorial rulers, as the solution to the CST crisis, while at the same time, in a bid to conceal its failure in implementing the accord and the conspiracy of turning the non-Muslim inhabited CST into a Muslim-dominated region, the government is now strongly spreading the imaginary tale of attempting to establish a Christian state, combining CST and its adjoining regions with a view to harvesting a main object. Initially, as though certain military and civilian quarters have been going mad with the ill propagation, very recently the matter has also embraced even the Prime Minister. In the place of bringing amendment in consonance with the accord, the intense conspiracy also includes the ill efforts of having the CST Regulation 1900 declared as to be a dead or cancelled or ineffective law, which is entwined in the fabric of historical, traditional, conventional, and special rights of the indigenous Juma people of the CST. The gravity of conspiracy has now reached at an alarming state, since the Attorney General of the government himself has ceded by the conspirators who filed a review petition against the High Court verdict pronounced on their earlier two cases filed with the High Court. If the 27 clauses get nulled as per the review petition, it is not only the CST Regulation 900 alone, but also CST Accord and the laws framed in its consonance, such as the CST Land Dispute Resolution Commission Act 2001, the Three Hill District Council Act, the CST Regional Council Act, and the regulations thereof will be affected, and what will be more affected is the sets of land rights and social practices and convention of the Juma people. On the last 23rd April 2024, the Court of Senior Magistrate of Rahamati, headed by Magistrate Fatima Begum Mukta, dismissed the case of abducted Kalpana Chakma for finding out the whereabouts of her and arresting the person involved in abduction and bringing them to trial and compensation to the victim's family. After running the case for 28 years, the dismissal order of Kalpana Chakma's abduction case in the lower court has, however, given impunity to administration from its responsibility to undertake whereabouts and details of the kidnappers of Kalpana Chakma from their crime in one hand, while it has seriously trampled down the human rights of the victim and her family, the move of which has established an extreme illustration of the leaking of judicial justice on the other. It is by merit of Operation Uttaran, the events that have become routine happenings in the day-to-day life of the CST Jumma people are conducting midnight military actions upon the Jumma people, searching houses and vandalizing the household articles, taking arrest by planting weapons, labeling to be armed holding terrorists and killing them in cold head in the name of mass practice crossfire, sending to jail by entangling them in false cases and meting out inhuman beating without justification, etc. As a result, the CST has got turned into a torture cell inside a widened cantonment. It is relevant to mention that, intending to obstruct the implementation process of the accord and to incite against the ongoing movement of Jumma people in continuation to creating of one after another armed terrorist elements by the army. The last creation of the group is the Kukitin National Front, widely known as Bomb Party, which has been organized with only the Chittagong youths from among the Bomb community. It may be recalled that at a certain time, while the information of providing shelter and military training to the Islamic militants in the army-generated KNF camp got leaked, the army that the government had to take up military actions against the KNF under international pressure. Following the incidents of bank robbery and looting of 14 arms from the law and order forces by KNF in Ruma and Thansi Upazila on 2nd and 3rd April 2024, the army led joint forces in the pretext of military action against the KNF have been conducting atrocities upon the innocent bomb villagers, picking up women, pregnant women, children, meting out physical torture, making arrests and sending to jail, and killing in cold head by labeling KNF tag. 12 innocent bomb people, including one child, have been killed so far, while making arrests of 111 persons, including pregnant women and children belonging to bomb community, including few Tripura people, since 7 April to till date. Consequently, approximately 5,000 bomb villagers of at least 1,000 families of 47 villages flee to other places, leaving their villages for fear of persecution, while 192 bomb villagers along with families had to take refuge in 2 places in the neighboring country. With this, the number of bomb refugees have gone up to 1,433 up till now, as per the Mizoram office record up till now. But according to the non-government account, the number of refugees will be more than 2,000. Centering the construction of border road and link roads, the Bangladesh Army and Border Guard Bangladesh, while ignoring the local names, have installed signboards naming after Muslim person at various spots in the dwelling lands of the indigenous people. Some of the instances of the kind are the place named Bijah in Sarbotoli under Baghachore Upazila has been renamed as Shahin Tila. One place in Kinkarpara area has been renamed Mahamud Tila. Another place, Durbachora in Sajik, has been renamed Inamul Tila. The place, Botola in Sajik area, has been renamed Shojib Tila. Another one place in Kinkarpara area under Sajik has been renamed Shamim Tila. The place, Boachora, has been renamed Soidur Tila. Yet another one place of Kinkarpara in Sajik area has been renamed Ismail Tilan, and yet another place of water under Sajik area has been renamed Al Amin Tilan. It is obviously a motivated attempt on the part of the army and BCB to expand cultural aggression and aimed at illegal land occupation and evict the local Juma people from their ancestral lands. From January to June of 2024 in the CST, 107 incidents of human rights violation have been perpetrated by the Bangladesh security forces and law and other forces, army-aided terrorist armed elements, Muslim Bengali settlers and land grabbers, wherein at least 5,448 Juma people, including 5,000 men and women of Bom people, feel free to those incidents of human rights violation. Besides, 1,284 families, including at least 1,000 Bom families and 76 villages, including 47 Bom families, directly fell free to the violations. On the other hand, 1,806 acres of lands have been illegally occupied by the settlers and influential individuals and NGOs coming from outside of the CST.